Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infamous Interviews on Infamous Horror. I am your host, AJ, and today we are joined by Ry Barrett, who is now in a film called In a Violent Nature. So, Ry, how did you first get involved with In a Violent Nature?
How's it going, man? I I was contacted by the producers and Chris just to jump on board. They had already started shooting actually. They shot a bunch of the film early on, and they ran into a bunch of problems, and they realized that they were gonna have to go back and reshoot and do some recasting and stuff. So they contacted me, and I met up with them and kind of explained the whole concept of the film and how they'd be doing it. And I was just extremely excited right off the bat because I was aware of their work, and I had seen Chris's shorts and the work that he'd done. So I was very excited to just work with them, but then also the concept, the flip of the perspective was something really fresh, I thought. So yeah, it was just a quick meeting, and then we went into doing a couple of walking tests and fittings and stuff, and here we are.
And how has the perception been? Because it seems to be kind of polarizing online, right? It seems to be one end of the spectrum or the other when people like it or hate it. But what has been the most surprising aspect of everything that the film's reception has gotten so far?
Um, yeah, it's been weird, but we kind of were expecting it too. Chris was really aware of the fact that this film has a very distinct audience, and while you got to be a horror fan, it also is a distinct audience within horror fans too. So we were all aware that some people were gonna, just not get on board with the movie. Some people hate it, but the people who love it seem to really love it, and that's kind of what we were hoping for, and just kind of crossing fingers with that audience would be there. And I think, yeah, like everyone on board from day one, the producing team and Chris, I think they just kind of knew that there was that audience there. But I don't think I don't think any of us knew that it was going to be what it is kind of becoming right now. How much attention and love and response it's gotten just so far, because it is a polarizing film. It's different. It's a different perspective and take, and it flips the script and kind of messes with expectations. So yeah, we're all just kind of blown away as to the fact that so many people are latching onto it.
Yeah, one of my friends was talking about it, and I kind of described it to him as if Terrence Malick or Gus Van Sant met each other in a slasher. This is kind of what you would get if those two met and made a slasher film with this perspective and how meditative it is. Just how was it like just on set knowing that this is going to be really fresh? And for me, this is probably my favorite slasher since Hatchet 1 came out. So it really has to be exhilarating to just be a part of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big horror fan myself, and grew up loving the slasher, different franchises and just individual entries and stuff. So being a part of something like that, it kind of gets to give love and homage to those films, but to do it in a different way. Like, yeah, like how Gus Van Sant has treated a few projects like Jerry and Elephant, and just kind of being there in the moment, it kind of really immerses you in just experiencing what is going on from another angle. And that can be a little more slow and chill at moments. It's supposed to be more of like a mesmerizing kind of effect that then leads into these shock moments. So it's kind of lulls you into these senses of comfort and beauty of the nature that you're kind of immersed in, and then all of a sudden it throws all the blood and guts at you. So it also plays on a different level too, whereas like the classic slasher movies are all about the kind of a jump scare or like a shock scare, where the killer's coming out of nowhere, where this is all about building the tension, because he's where he's going, who he's walking up to, and something's going to happen. You just don't know what. So it's kind of about building that tension and then just having fun with what does happen.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of appreciated most about In a Violent Nature, because with the cinematography, it's almost like the Beauty and the Beast. You're going to get the kills too, but in the meantime, just looking at the location, the filming location, and the cinematography in this film is really just breathtaking. And the fact that it's from the perspective of the killer, so you really get to just witness all of it. It's not the same cookie cutter point A to point B to get the kills done. There's a lot more artwork going into it. And then just how was the cast reaction to that as well?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun watching that too, and I mean, the cast was great too. Just they were troopers. They had to get casting molds for all of the practical effects, and then they were covered in blood, and it does take a long time to get those scenes right. So you really do have to be patient and kind of like hold yourself in a very specific position, and it can take a while sometimes. It can take a while to get that right shot or that one effect that just works. So they were great with that, and then like actually getting to see audiences react to these scenes, sitting in theaters and watching them. It's a lot of fun because we've gone to a handful of festivals and watched like the festival crowds react, and it's always a little bit different when it's a public crowd or a festival. But with this one, it's been super consistent. It's like everyone's laughing at the right spots, everyone's gasping and shocked at the same moments. It works in a way that like everything that Nash designed to sort of happen in the film and affect the audience is exactly doing what was kind of intended. And it's like, it still is. Some people, I'm sure they'll walk out at the end and some of them are like, oh, it was boring, but I like this kill. Then this was fun.
Yeah.
But then I was bored. But then other people they're like, I loved that I just get to sit there and get immersed in this. And then all of a sudden it's like you're along for a hangout day with a serial killer in the woods. It might be the first like hangout slasher film. I don't know.
Yeah. But... It almost does feel like a bonfire hangout slasher film in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that some people are playing it in the background at like some Halloween parties this year, because it's kind of got that, you can put it up on a screen and just let it play.
Oh, that would be so amazing, especially at like, this would play really well at a drive-in, I would imagine too, if it is playing at any drive-ins. I believe this is kind of what drive-in movies are made for.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's we got a handful of drive-ins around here, and I'm hoping, my hometown Guelph, Ontario actually has the Mustang drive-in just outside. So I'm hoping it does get picked up by some drive-ins. Does a few screenings. I'd love to make it out for that, because I was thinking the exact same thing. It would play very well at a drive-in.
And how was it like working with Chris? Because he spoke on it multiple times, but having Chris, he's just has this knack of what people want out of a genre film. And as an actor, had to be kind of just fantastic to see Chris take control of in a violent nature.
Well, like I mean, Chris is a huge film fan, like cinephile, and like he loves his specific movies, and he loves art house, but he also loves genre and like classics, slashers, and all the stuff we grew up watching. So knowing that he already has an affinity for all of that stuff and knows it so well and wants to do something different and present something to the audience, just kind of, I think just knowing expectations and like what he's seen, he just kind of had a feeling that, I think this will play well. I think people will get this, and like at least specific audiences at least. So it's really fun working with somebody like that who's got everything kind of pre-planned out and like specifically with the kills and everything in the movie sort of had to work as a puzzle and just kind of come together in the right ways, like the pacing, the special effects, the positioning of the actors, everything all had to kind of be exactly there for all those pre-designed kills to work. So as an actor, it's a lot of fun just being a part of that and getting to see like how it all comes together, but then also working with Chris, him knowing it so well, but also kind of giving you freedom. Like we did a lot of talking about what kind of a killer Johnny would be. And, he had to be an easy entry point for the audience to know exactly what kind of film they were in. So, there's the comparisons to like The Burning and Friday the 13th, and so you just know exactly what kind of killer. But then to also kind of do something different with him, a little, original. So he let me do whatever I wanted with that, like just as long as it wasn't going to be too much or take away from the scenes or make it too much about Johnny. It was kind of more about, we're already with him. You don't need to do too much to kind of give him a distinct thing, because it was trying to get nods and homage and take little bits from all the classic actors and the slasher genre and stuff, but then to not copy them, not fully do one thing, just kind of amalgamate them and sort of try to do something different.
Right, kind of make them into like your own kind of algorithm when you're making your own version
Yeah,
of your character. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, exactly. You want to give proper respect to what's been done before, and you want to make it very attainable for the audience, but you don't want to just copy, and you want to try to do something new too. So it was fun doing that. And one of the things I did with that too is I watched a whole bunch of animal attack videos, like bears and wolves and all that stuff, just to kind of get a motion of how Johnny would switch from one gear, being at one with nature, walking through the woods, and all of a sudden switch into pure violence, just a killing machine.
Right, and I think Johnny would go toe to toe with Jason or anybody if you put him up there, because what you do in this movie is fantastic.
Oh, thanks, man. It was a lot of fun.
And you guys also got picked up by Sutter, and knowing that you guys are going to be on streaming sometime in the future has to be exciting too, to just get that much wider of an audience who may not be able to go see it because it's not playing in their selected region or whatever have you. How exciting is that as well?
Yeah, it's great knowing that it does have that home to kind of land at. The folks at Shudder and IFC have been amazing with marketing it too. Just going just doing all these cool, fun things that just get it spread, the word spread, and just being a part of that too. And then knowing that Shudder. I'm a subscriber. I watch Shudder all the time. I watch Joe Bob and everything that pops up on it. So I'm a huge Shudder fan too, even before I was even a part of this. So it's cool knowing that we've got this, this home at this great company that's gonna continue to push it and keep it out there and give it to horror fans and the people who really want to see it.
Who knows? Maybe one day Joe Bob Briggs may host it on his show. Who knows?
Yeah, fingers crossed, right?
And what's next for In a Violent Nature, if you can discuss it?
As of right now, it's just the theatrical. Then it gets released in, I believe, the UK and Ireland, July 7th or right around there, July 7th or 10th. And then as it's getting rolled out theatrically, I mean, it might open up in other territories too. I'm just not sure about that. And then it hits Shudder end of summer. And other than that, I'm not sure. People are talking or asking sequels and stuff like that, but I'm kind of out of the loop on that at this point. But I know it's been being asked quite a bit, so I'm sure there's some ideas that are formulating and a lot of talk that's going on. So other than that, I'm just excited for everything that's happening with it and just going along with the ride.
And one final question: what has been your most favorite memory of In a Violent Nature, or some of your favorites that you have?
Honestly, just like it's kind of an amalgamation of memories, but it's like the after the long days and when everyone's putting in passion and effort into doing all the things, it's kind of you have those moments where everyone just kind of is exhausted and just all hanging out together and trying to get the shot, and everyone's laughing and just having a good time, and you kind of just look around and have to like take those moments in because they're kind of why you do it. So it's just kind of amalgamation of all that, and that's to speak on the cast and crew of just being such great people and to hang out with, and to make this movie was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work, and Chris almost ended up in the hospital. He cut himself and stepped on nails and all this stuff, and it took its toll on people, but everyone seemed like they were having fun at the same time. So it was just a good group of people. That's probably the best memory I have from it, meeting all those people and getting to make this movie.
Well, Ry, thank you so much for joining us on Infamous Horrors and Infamous Interviews. It's been real fun, and congratulations.